years later, we're at the Mana 1, a research station 200 miles off the coast of Shanghai, which has such a cool skyline, I wasn't sure if it was real or not. It is. Great skyline, Shanghai. Mana 1 is a family business. It's run by Dr. Minwei Zhang and his daughter, oceanographer Su Yin, who also has her 8-year-old Mei Ying aboard. The whole operation is funded by American billionaire Jack Morris, played by Rainn Wilson, a 2-time kill count vet who's no stranger to marine biology.
Behold! Fish boy!
Oh my god!
Through Morris's introductions, we get a rundown on the Mana 1 team, the Mana 1ers. There's punky engineer Jax, comic relief drone pilot DJ, and station chief Mac, who's honestly just a cool guy. It's all hands on deck today since Mana 1 is launching the Origin, a submarine manned by, hey, wait, more characters, pilot Lori and science buds Toshi and The Wall. Those two have a sophomoric sense of humor.
We are a go for insertion.
She said insertion. Lots of quirky characters and kill count vets abound here. Jessica McNamee was Sonya Blade in the new Mortal Kombat, where I think she did great. Detroit's own Paige Kennedy was in Leprechaun Back to the Hood, and Cliff Curtis was in Deep Rising and Dr. Sleep. The Mana 1 is here in the Mariana Trench because they think they can get even closer to the planet core. Hit us with the jargon, Zhang.
What we think is the bottom might actually be a layer of hydrogen sulfide.
Don't know what that is, but hey, an even deeper blue sea awaits. And to prove it, they're sending in live human beings. Y'all don't want to start with an unmanned mission or nothing? The Origin successfully penetrates the thermocline, which is a word they use a lot in this movie.
Thermocline. Thermocline?
Thermocline.
If you're about to look it up like I had to, don't worry, I got you. It's a steep temperature gradient in a body of water where it quickly goes from one temperature to another. That means they've entered a warm water environment that the thermocline has kept separated from the rest of, science. The place looks like the Finding Nemo submarine voyage. It's got sunwreckers and everything. Many of the movie's underwater shots were done by Sony Pictures Imageworks, a visual effects and animation studio probably best known for its work on the Spider-Verse films, and also literally every other Spider-Man movie, damn. The supervisors did tons of research to make these sequences look as accurate as possible.
We even shot lens grids underwater so that we could see how the depth of the water would distort.
To populate their underwater environments, they used an in-house program called Sprout, which allowed them to paint with pre-made models.
So I could literally sit down with our great artists and say, I want some kelp here, just in front of the camera there. Okay, let's go deep. I want to see a nice silhouette of this type of coral.
God, that's cool. Everyone high fives in the name of science. Yeah, science. But before they can pop the champagne bottles, a blip shows up on their radars.
It's big.
Oh, it's huge.
The crew is soon battered out of control by a creature, and they lose contact with the Mana 1. Right before they lost the connection, Lori said something to the crew.
Jonas was right!
Seeing as how she's his ex-wife, those words hold a lot of weight. Jonas has been beach bumming it up in Thailand, having lost his career after telling tales of sea monsters. We re-meet him, soaked in sun and booze, while a Thai cover of Hey Mickey plays, which I'm pretty sure was made for this movie. Mac and Zhang helicopter in and do the action movie song and dance with him. Though he and Mac are bros, Jonas says that he's retired. They then play him a tape of his ex-spouse saying he was right, and that's enough to change the mind of any drunk divorcee. Not everyone's excited for Jonas's return. Dr. Heller, the station's medical chief, was part of his old rescue team. You know the guy.
What have you done?
Dude's still beating the same old drum, which is what cost Jonas his career.
Left our friends to die because he had pressure-induced psychosis.
He convinces Su Yin that Jonas can't be trusted, so when the Origin takes another hit and Lori sustains a major OSHA oopsie, Su Yin decides to attempt the rescue on her own, which feels irresponsible since Jonas arrives literally 15 minutes later.
Su Yin took a glider 15 minutes ago.
He quickly takes stock of the crew. He's not an Office fan, but he does dig Jax.
You look like you honestly know what you're doing.
Of course she does, dude. She's too sweet! And, you know, kinda looks like she came out of a Matrix video game. Jax is played by Ruby Rose, who first broke through in Orange is the New Black. Jonas leaves to follow in the Evolution, or my bad, the Captain Bubbles. At least that's according to Mei Ying, who just says the darndest things.
You must be the crazy guy.
Mei Ying's precocious, but in a cute, likable way. Plus, Jason Statham's great acting against her. Their scenes are adorable. Su Yin discovers the sunken Origin, and good thing, Toshi's been writing a goodbye letter to his wife. Damn, that's bleak. Before she can attempt a rescue, her Gungan Bongo gets pinballed around by a deep-sea beastie. It's a giant squid, and it looks awesome. But sorry, Squiddy, there's always a bigger fish.
It's Megalodon.
With her glider too squid-humped to be of any use, Su Yin is forced to return to the surface, leaving Jonas to lone wolf the rest of the mission. He successfully attaches to the Origin, but maybe takes a bit too long bantering with his ex.
Tell me this isn't the world's best I told you so.
You came all the way here just to tell me that, didn't you?
Pretty much.
Alright, you two, enough with the battle of the sexes. Let's get a move on. You are at the bottom of the sea, and, you know, the world. Sure enough, the Meg starts to circle back around to attack. With time running out and no powers at his disposal, Toshi stuffs his letter in the wall's back pocket and decides to be a hero. He sacrifices himself, detaching the Origin and distracting the Meg so his teammates can escape. It's actually pretty sad when the Meg takes him out. Damn, man. If only they had had more time.
Tell me this isn't the world's best I told you so.
The filmmakers made an effort to differentiate the Meg from previous on-screen sharks like Bruce.
The single most important thing for me was that it wasn't just a scaled-up great white shark.
They took cues from the Meg's deep-sea environment, giving her gnarly, knobbly skin and a brown mottled color, and extra gills to account for low oxygen levels. They also took some liberties with her size. While scientists estimate megalodons were around 60 feet based on fossilized teeth, movie Meg spans closer to 75. Jonas gets his ex-wife to the medical wing and pretty much out of this movie. And while Soo-yin initially blames him for Toshi's death,
You left him because that's who you are. You are the guy who leaves people behind.
she quickly comes around to apologize and get an eyeful of ripped-ass Jason Statham. How's it going, shawty? Damn it, at 51? Great work, man. Same to Li Bingbing, who's only 13 years younger than her in-movie dad, then 56-year-old Winston Chow. Soo-yin likes what she sees, and thus begins her quest to get that Statham D. Bingbing is seriously great, and so likable in these lighthearted scenes. Sucks that her bigger US showcases weren't exactly well received. The Man of One team regroups now that they've discovered a prehistoric animal thought to have been extinct for 2 million years. In light of Toshi's death, they agree to proceed with caution, but Morris wants to charge ahead like a regular J. Bruce Ismay. After the $1 billion he's spent on this place, he wants them to capture a Meg. Jonas quints at him and tells him to shut up.
Man versus Meg isn't a fight. It's a slaughter.
Mei Ying's walking around in a Vanellope kind of getup when she learns that the Meg has followed them upstairs. Not sure if a shark can just kind of tread water like that, but whatever, cool shot. Turns out the explosion that killed Toshi also triggered a thermal vent, creating a temporary opening that allowed the Meg to escape.
Are you saying we opened up a superhighway for giant sharks?
It's true. The Man of One's, science computer yells at them and they take a boat to investigate the signal. They find fish bodies and boat parts aplenty, since these were illegal shark poachers. I guess the Meg's become an eco-terrorist. No corpses to speak of, but I will add this scrap from the Meg's plate to the count. The big girl's still Moby-Dicking around, so the crew devises a plan to tag her with a tracker. Actually, Morris comes up with the idea. While antagonistic, he and Keller both have human moments. Hell, Keller even apologizes to Jonas. That's nice. Since a boat's vibrations will summon the Megalodon, Soo-yin reasons that only a solo swimmer can get close. Obviously, Jonas volunteers to do it, so he swims out like everything's hunky-dory.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Despite a water-bobbing jump scare, Jonas manages to tag the she-shark. Then it comes after him as the team tries to reel him in. Damn, this dude's getting keel-hauled like he fell off his skis, but his drunk friends didn't notice. It's a great little action sequence, I love it. Production shot the cable scene in the Hauraki Gulf in New Zealand. Stunt coordinator Alan Poppleton dragged Statham using a rig built on the side of a boat, which had a crane and camera crew aboard to film him. While Turtletaub enjoyed shooting on the open water, it meant massively downsizing his crew and being at the mercy of unpredictable weather. As a result, production built a huge water tank in New Zealand that allowed them to keep the actors safe and, you know, actually see them underwater. With the tracker in place, the team moves on to the next part of their plan, which involves a harpoon pumped full of poison. Because of her, I don't know, biology experience, Soo-yin volunteers to be an ordinary hero and administer the shot. She also volunteers to humor Jonas's humiliation kink. While she's protected inside a polycarbonate shark cage, it doesn't stop the Megamouth from trying to swallow it whole. It's up to Jonas to get naked again and save her, and a tug of war soon sends the crew in after him. Jax is in the water. The wall is in the water. Everyone's in the water! The movie's aquatic setting was a challenge for the cast, who had to go through a 1-week water safety course with the stunt team. It was a necessary precaution. Some shoot days would see them spending up to 8 hours in the water.
I've never been so tired after a day of acting before.
Luckily, Jason Statham's background as a diver allowed him to do some of his own stunts, adding even more to his badassery.
You know what's really fun? Watching Jason Statham.
Soo-yin manages to dose out the Megacin, but damages her oxygen mask in the scuffle. She's speedrunning the entire plot of 47 meters down when Jonas shows up to give her the Casino Royale treatment. He manages to save her in another great sequence right before the cage is pulled down into the murky depths. They almost get snatched by the beast from below, but an improvised trap holds her off long enough for the poison to kill the shark. Soo-yin requires slow-motion CPR to save her. Whew, that was close.
You were dead a minute ago.
I'm not gonna count that. Besides, she's only been out long enough for the team to truss up the catch of the day, just like Jaws. Also just like Jaws, Jonas realizes this isn't the right shark. I mean, we're only halfway through the film, which means there must be another Meg.
A what?
Another Meg, motherfucker! A bigger one that swallows the wallows whole as it jumps up and destroys their boat. What did I tell y'all about there always being a bigger fish? You really should have brought a bigger boat! The movie's titular terror was created by Scanline VFX, who won a Scientific and Technical Academy Award for its proprietary proprietary fluid simulation software, Flowline. That's probably why they worked on so many water-heavy movies like Aquaman, 2012, and Wakanda Forever. Scanline worked with the film's VFX supervisor, the aptly named Adrian DeWitt. A ton of research went into this thing, including shark swim cycles and muscle movements.
The more you get the science right, the more you draw them in with the truth, the more real things get. So therefore, the more frightening it is.
I think the end result is truly spectacular. Zhang takes a gnarly hit during the capsizing, which is a problem, since the doctor is out in the water with Jax. You gotta be more careful, Jax. The Meg starts making her way towards the pair, so Heller decides to make a big splash and sacrifice himself. Jax, you wanna move or just tread water and scream? Oh, okay, now she's back to the boat. Alright. Mac manages to get to some lifeboats, but unfortunately, it's too late for Dr. Zhang. He dies of his injuries before they can reach help. Jonas finds Su Yin in mourning later, and the two bond over their Meg-related trauma, and how hot they both are. Morris announces that he's dismissing the crew, claiming to have turned the problem over to the Chinese government. In reality, Morris plans on killing the Meg himself with some homemade depth charges. And why, you might ask? Would he not alert the military to a giant prehistoric sea monster?
Every person that gets maimed or killed by that thing is a potential lawsuit.
Alright, business! Morris goes fishing with a team of mercenaries, and thanks to the tracker, they're able to tap and even double tap a big behemoth boy. But turns out this was just a whale, and in the ensuing panic, Morris falls out of his boat and is left behind by his crew, who is either highly trained to only look forward, or hey, maybe they just don't like the guy. The Meg rears her head for a bite full of blubber, and while it seems like Morris might make it for a mo, a second serving puts an end to the fishy billionaire. Let's give him a hand for that misdirection. Back on the Mana 1, Jonas is given dating advice by his ex-wife and an 8-year-old child.
This is possibly the worst moment of my life.
They both tell him to pursue Su Yin, but maybe not right now, since the crew just found out Morris never called the authorities. That means they'll have to hunt the Meg themselves. The team tracks the shark's course to Sanya Bay. No, not Sonia Bay, Lori. It's a real-life tourist beach on the southern coast of Hainan in the South China Sea. Gotta be honest, this is not my kind of beach. It's way too crowded. At this point, it's just people soup. Oh wait, never mind. That human hamster ball seems pretty dope. One husky son and his mom remind me of the Kittner boy in Jaws, especially later when she's looking for him in the chaos. We also see a banana boat, possibly a reference to Jaws the Revenge. And at a wedding party, the bride's pooch is named Pippin. It's a reference to Pippet the dog, who was eaten off screen in Jaws and completely ignored in my kill count. I don't count dogs. Pippin decides it's time to start living, but in just no time at all, she sees she's not doggy paddling on the right track. She gets swept up as the Meg makes her entrance. Oh my god. She enters Buffet Bay, where some chains knock off her tracking chip. She ends up dragging a raft or three. Crashes and keel hauls commence. Before long, all hell breaks loose, and the Meg starts getting her chomp on. It may not be as bad as Piranha 3D, but this was still pretty hard to count. In the end, I can only conclusively count 3 kills here. 2 people who get eaten on a raft, and another swimmer who the Meg has as dessert. Ball Guy tries to flee, damn the pedestrians, but the Meg chases him down and puts a pin in his getaway plan. Before things get more kill county, a group of stragglers are saved when the Mana 1 team gets close enough and plays some whale noises. The Meg veers off for a bigger meal, somehow not drowning everyone with its tail. Piloting underwater gliders, Jonas and Su Yin bait and switch the behemoth, with Jonas taking heavy damage in the process. Their torpedo tactics attract the attention of some nearby news crews. Unfortunately, one of the pilots doesn't keep his eye on the sky and crashes into another helicopter, sending fiery bits raining down on the ship. Once again, everyone's back in the pool. What is this, our 3rd boat disaster?
Splashing! You have a life jacket on!
A life jacket!
Yep.
I love this little scene between DJ and Mei Ying. Actors Paige Kennedy and Sophia Kai were both novice swimmers going into production, and it seems like they had a very sweet on-set relationship.
Paige says that he is saving me like a joke, and then I said, I'm saving you. Actually, we're both kind of saving each other.
Su Yin resurfaces to help her waterlogged friends, but has run out of rockets to keep the Meg at bay. Jonas decides to go mano a mego and leads the shark away from the group. Using a piece of his broken glider, he makes like a ghost face and guts this fish.
Don't you like that? Please!
The Meg quickly munches through Jonas's glider, but he counters with an ice tap from a piece of the wreckage. The movie cranks it to 11 when Jonas rides the Meg as it breaches the surface and finishes stabbing her mid-air. Hell yeah! Jason Statham actually did this stunt practically, which is fucking insane. But changes to the shot required Scanline to replace him with a digi-double. The Statham stand-in looks fantastic, with detailing down to the stubble on his face and head. I also found it awesome that they animated the entire space and then were able to move the so-called camera through it to get a different shot. Science is cool. Miraculously, the big fish still has some bite left in her, but the scene becomes a feeding frenzy as sharks of all sizes arrive to eat the Meg from the inside out. The queen is dead! Viva la revolution! One hungry hammerhead turns his attention towards Jonas, but he's rescued by some timely intervention from Su Yin. They meet up with the rest of the crew, who have been picked up by that wedding party. And most importantly of all, Pippin survived! Thank God! She's got magic to do. The team finally